So Zed Run released their roadmap for 2022, and we're going to go through the whole thing real quick, and then I'll kind of go back and touch on some of the subjects specifically and my thoughts. So they recognize that they missed some of their deadlines and did not hit all their targets within a timely manner. They're looking to really focus on doing so in 2022 and expand beyond the beta program. This trailer is really fun. I enjoy it. I'll do a separate video on that, coupled with a Chris Ebbs interview that I watched. There might be some Easter eggs in there. And yeah, so they're revamping the class system, making it more elo based, which we all kind of knew that they're going to do. It'll be based on a horse's finished position against its field. So that should be interesting. There's a survey here if you want to give feedback on class system. There's feedback on most sections, so that way you can kind of go in and share your 2 cents on what you like and what you don't like. It seems like they're being very receptive to what the community had to say. This is one of the big ones. The Zed Run token will be released. They partnered with Republic Crypto to kind of help manage the token release and micromanaging DES and how it's going to work and all that. DES token is going to be, let's see here. So the distribution will be 3 main phases: the in-game phase, the growth incentives, and the existing users. If we zoom in here, so you can see you have your studs, and it looks like here there's going to be some rewards, so breeding rewards. If you breed a male with a female horse from your stable, you get 200 DES. If you put 2 of your horses in the stud barn, you get 100 DES. And if you breed a filly from your stable, you get an additional 50 DES. So it looks like they're going to be doing some sort of reward system to kind of daily missions and things to get you interacting with all the different aspects of the game, even if it's not how your stable is primarily constructed. In Q1, they're looking to do the initial airdrop. Tokens will be released to people who own skins, passes, and racehorses. Allocation will be based on how many racehorses you own, the type of racehorses, racehorse DNA, so I'm guessing that means bloodline. So Nakamoto's will obviously get more, Buterins will get less, and everything falls in between. And the length of your Zed Run NFT ownership. So this is Zed Run NFT ownership. This does not say horses. So I'm willing to bet if you minted a Zed Run pass, you'll be rewarded more than somebody who purchased theirs on the secondary market. And then obviously, you know, some of the OGs that have had horses since day one, they're probably going to clean up quite nicely. So phase 2 is going to be the Q1 racing. Token rewards offered for each race and tournament. So race class, you'll get more, tournament type, tournament length, and special condition events. The tournament length's really interesting. It makes me think that there might be some flash events that are, you know, only weekend only. You don't have to qualify for 25 races. That should be pretty interesting. They're going to be loading the prize pools. They'll initially continue to have ETH prizes alongside with the Zed Run token. And then as it continues to expand in a way which tokens are used in-game, will change alongside with the expectation and input. Meaning, to get the token circulated, I would assume that they're going to offer more Zed Run token early and then scale it back as the game grows. Racehorse retirement, Q2. You know, because there's no end of life mechanic, racehorses can live forever. You'll be rewarded by retiring a horse, permanently taking it out of race circulation. You will not be able to do it with non-Genesis racehorses. And it adds deflationary influence over the population, and it provides a player an option to salvage the value back from the original purchase. Phase 4, horse renting. This is phase 4, Q2, right? This is pretty much exactly as it sounds. Beginning the official Zed Run stable, new stable owners will be able to rent many of the unsold Genesis racehorses. We'll touch on that in a minute. Rewards accumulated from the racehorses rented out from the official Zed Run stable will be shared with the renter and the rest of the community. Once launched, renting will enable better onboard experience for new people, wider distribution of token, and existing stable owners to generate rewards by renting out their very own horses. So, Q2, Zed Run wants to have their own renting program up. Ours is to be announced. Then once again, survey on the token. So this is something I find very fascinating. We're going to zoom in on this one. So, we have these types of events. You have a Finny tournament, Fibonacci tournament, which is what we've been doing. A zombie racing tournament. Does that mean zombie racing is an official tournament provider of Zed Run fully? And if you look, that's a zombie horse. Does that mean zombies also getting their own exclusive skins? I'm really excited for what this could mean for them and other potential partnerships. If you construct your team correctly, right? And then this looks like another Pity Point Cup. But what I think a lot of people didn't zoom in and see, Z1 giveaway. Participate in 10,000 races from November 1st to December. And in the draw, win a Z1 legendary racehorse. We'll talk on that. Alright. Zoom back up. So, ultimate tournament and racing experience. Tournaments are about to explode. Yep, we know they've been testing different versions of the ecosystem. More variety will be applied. Prize pools, so they still have almost $10 million in the treasury for tournaments. So they plan on getting that out. Examples of conditions that may include bloodline, breed type, genotype, racehorse with 0% place record. Ooh, that's a super dunk tournament. Color grouping, I think we saw that in Zombie. And skin and pass type. Party mode is coming. Private racing, I'm really excited for that. Once that comes out, I will be hosting all kinds of my own tournaments. Seasons, so they have daily leaderboards. Participate in free racing events daily. So I'm assuming it's kind of like, you know, if you're the #1 profitable horse, if you get the most wins, you get a little Des kickback. So it's probably not going to be, I think, too crazy, but still be fun. Season leaders with Zed Run tokens. Stable owners can opt into seasons using passes, using a pass, which gives you access to different tournaments, exclusive sponsored events, and rewards. Using a pass in capital letters. Right now, the only pass available is the NASCAR pass. This is important. Pay attention to that. Q3, the masses. Over 9 months, Zed Run enjoyed a whole bunch of advertisements from people like the New York Times, Yahoo. We know. Our marketing efforts will kick off in 2022 with the aim of bringing more users with focus on adoption. So, hold on to your hats. 2022, they're going to make a big push to get new users in. Rebel networks. So this just goes over, you know, Zed Run has been supported by the Churman Group, Andreessen Horowitz, and Greylock. And then it kind of goes over some of the key people that have been working with them. David Van Egman, former head of strategy and corporate development at Barstool and former executive vice president at FanDuel. Might be some betting going on. Henrik Andersson, sorry, trying to go too fast here, and chief investment officer at Apollo Capital, and Matt Restivo, former chief product officer at Action Network. So some pretty big companies. You know, Titans of Media, as they're saying, there's a lot of different skins going on here. I think we definitely see a lot coming. Zed Run has more than 100 individuals working full-time on the platform. Here's some key people. So we got Roberto, who's the head of engineering. He's the director of War Gaming or World of Tanks. He was also the head engineer for King, which is Candy Crush. Daniel Bruce, head of product. He worked for Stripe Payments and senior product manager at Google. It's pretty big. So Alex is the head of design, senior manager of UX at Expedia, and head of design and machine learning. Alex, a senior data scientist, worked with sports bets and software engineer at IBM. James, senior devs ops, worked for Tencent, which is PUBG, and also what's that Pokemon equivalent to League of Legends? The name's escaping me at the moment. And devs op manager at NASA, pretty big organization. Shannon, chief marketing officer. Akitrue, CEO of Wonderman and VP of marketing at HTC. Ted, VP of commercial operations, president of Two Spires, chief strategy at Churchill Downs. And is that Chica? VP of strategy, airtime, global product lead at Google, and strategy at eBay. And this skin looks sick. This whole backdrop looks sick. Like if this is somehow incorporated into our stables and being able to look at horses, or if this is even the retirement shrine, that looks, I like it. Ongoing developments. So revamping some of the smart contracts so that way they can handle the public crypto. Finalization of smart contract audit by Quantum Stamp. That's really important. And increase community collaboration through surveys to improve user experience. We're getting close to our 1 millionth race ran. That's insane. 1 million race simulations. Absolute craze. And they want to build stronger than before to deliver on their vision together. So, in another survey. So yeah, it seems like the teams, based on some of the comms, even though they've been kind of dicks at times, for lack of a better word, they do seem to be slightly disappointed in themselves on the way they've executed. So revamping the class system. So if race performance is based on your finished position against the strength of your field, I think this is going to be pretty good. The thing that concerns me most is if you're a horse that overperforms for a small window because you're high variance, there's a potential that you continually class up much faster because you're beating horses that are better than you. I've seen those in a couple of my stables. They seem to do well against really strong horses, and then some other horses that are kind of more middle of the pack, they just suffer terribly. Don't fully know how that is, but it just kind of seems to be the play. But things like head-to-head tools are going to become even more important, because if you can understand how you perform against different competition, it's going to not only benefit you in your win rate, but your ability to move through the classes if there's still benefit to any type of class manipulation, which we'll kind of see. The way that I see classes working best is if prize pools are going to be based on class, and class determines DES distribution. If you want to be able to get more DES token, you'll have to be in class 1 or the class 1 equivalent versus class 5. And part of that also becomes the issue I can potentially see, that if you have a whole bunch of, Z1 Nakamotos, you're generating the most DES the most quickly, and therefore you're able to grow your stable at a much faster rate by not having to pay breeding fees if DES is able to be used, or whatever the Zed Run token is be able to use for that. So it might just be me being slightly glass half full. So far, any changes Zed has made, I think, has been beneficial for the long term. So by any means, whatever they do, I trust them. But I will be interested to see how it's balanced, because with most things, when something like an ELO first comes out, or an ELO adjustment, or even when something as simple as League of Legends, they do an item update, there is unintended consequences that people learn to exploit, and then they have to completely revamp things. So we'll see how it goes. The fact that they reached out to a third-party company to manage the DES token, or whatever it is interesting to me. I think it's a great move, hiring people that are more senior in the space with more experience than trying to handle it your own. Like they said, they were not a drop company, therefore they just couldn't do it. They didn't know what they were doing. Now this is down here, this note. Zed Run token is intended to be utilized as a unit of exchange for provisions and services in the Zed Run ecosystem, and an incentive to encourage players to contribute and maintain the Zed Run ecosystem. So it's an in-game currency or token that is able to be used within platform to give people a reason to play. Ownership of Zed Run tokens carries no rights other than it means to engage with the Zed Run ecosystem, which means there is no DAO aspect. I know at one point people, I don't know if it was the team that said it or if it was just influencers assuming, but there was an idea that if you owned Genesis horses, you would have voting rights, or if you had DES or whatever the token became, you'd have voting rights. This specifically says you carry no rights, so there's not going to be any DAO aspect to Zed Run. Surveys and the product portal are probably going to be your best way to communicate your needs, and getting people to express similar ideas will be the best way to impact how the game's shaped. So I would not look forward to any type of traditional DAO structure because it does not look like it's coming. The token does not have any intrinsic value, and it is the responsibility of the token recipient to maintain the token security and protect its wallet and privacy keys. Meaning they're going to send it to you. If you lose it, that's on you. It does not have any intrinsic value. I don't know if that's just a regulatory statement or if that means you're not going to be able to sell or trade off exchange or off platform. Based on how successful Axie Infinity has been and the way that they do things, I think it would be beneficial to be able to sell it in exchanges and different tools, whether it's a Uniswap or whatever it is. But we will see how this plays out, because they constantly say that it's an on-platform currency. So can you sell DES for ETH or exchange it for ETH? I don't know. I really do not know. If not, I think there's going to be a lot of pissed off people. If you can, I think there's going to be a lot of happy people. I see pros and cons to both. It's a much bigger problem than I'm equipped to come up with solutions for. So we'll just leave it as it is. So I like this whole daily mission thing or weekly mission. Like I said, I like it. I appreciate it. I don't see any problems with it. It gives people reasons to experiment with the game, especially new users. And it kind of gives you a direction on what to try. So the initial airdrop, number of racehorses owned, types of racehorses owned based on DNA, and length of Zed Run NFT ownership. I think this is a good, fair way to reward OGs who've been here since the very beginning. It's going to feel unfair to a lot of people because a lot of those people who've been here for the beginning have very large stables. They have a lot of rarer horses. So the initial, it's going to feel unfair, but it's fair in the fact that they get rewarded for being here for so long, for believing in the project for so long. So I don't have a problem with that. So this whole the rich get richer thing, well, they were early. Like whoever's early to any space gets rewarded most. Special events seems pretty straightforward. I am a fan of these. Racehorse retirement. So you'll be rewarded for a horse's career, and you can hang on to it, keeping its racing. And you can hang on to it and keep racing to level up its retirement rewards. Hold on, what? With other racing legends. So this doesn't make any sense. I did not read this fine print before, so we're going to zoom in. So, retire Gloria. Retiring your horse will send it to the pasture to live out its days with the other racing legends. So Zed rank 180, earnings 84. It's a Nakamoto Z2 legendary mare, 4 offspring, races. Okay. You'll be rewarded for your horse's career, or you can, okay. So if you retire it, you get rewarded for what it's done, and it's done, good, over with. Okay, that makes more sense. Whew. Happily we found that out. Yeah, so you'll be able to retire your horse. I believe that this is a mechanic to evaporate the floor and dead weight off the floor, and incentivize people to rent from pre-existing stables versus just buy the cheapest horse they can find. Because a lot of new people who aren't willing to risk, and a lot of the people that are coming into crypto for the first time are not going to want to spend a lot because they've heard horror stories on the news about crypto and NFTs, and you know, it's a way to smuggle money for drug dealers, right? Which we know that's not true. They're just going to come in and spend as least amount of money as possible, which means they're going to be buying crosses and Z40s and up. Chance of those horses winning is very low, which then creates a bad user experience for new players. They don't come back, they don't tell their friends. It's bad for the ecosystem completely. So if you're able to retire horses and get a return on your investment that you can then use to either enter more races, enter tournaments, or breed new horses, that pulls the floor up because there's less in the ecosystem, and once again it incentivizes people to rent from pre-existing stables. So it gives us a form of income, and it makes the floor rise. So I think all in all this is great. What I don't know is retirement. Let's see, as such, we plan to introduce a retirement feature that will allow a stable owner to permanently give up ownership, i.e. for deletion or addition to the VHS racehorse treasury of non-Genesis racehorses in exchange for tokens. So I don't know what the VHS racehorse treasury is. That's probably my biggest question. Or for deletion. So are they fully burning it? And once it's deleted, does that mean the name gets re-released? Because that's one of the biggest things the community's been talking about. Zed Run has been acting like they're paying attention to us. This is a fine print detail I want some clarification on. So I'm probably going to post a Twitter or something in the product portal. Be looking for that because we want the answers. Yeah, so renting. So beginning with the official Zed Run stable, new stable owners will be able to rent out many of the unsold Genesis race horses. We have been planning to more effectively utilize unsold Genesis racehorses to better serve the community. Rather than profiting from the sale, we are instead giving utility back in token to create stronger levels of engagement. So, no more horse drops. The pro, Zed sucks at it. They can't even tell you what wallets won for free and send out an email officially stating that you are a winner. The cons, the 27,000 plus that are in the ecosystem is all that's ever going to be there. So ready, set, buy. Since this announcement, I think 60 Genesis racehorses have been purchased. The floor has been climbing pretty steadily, especially in the middle. A lot of people, instead of buying off the floor, are going in and kind of picking what they really want, 10, 20% above floor. And I think it's just going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be a mad dash, but I think in the very near future we can see horse prices similar to what we saw back in, August, September. Especially since there's not going to be any more dropped. I know a lot of people were saving funds for the next drop, and no more drop. I said drop a lot, but this is crazy. The fact that they're going to be putting them in the official Zed Run stable, how does that work? Will the Zed Run stable only be renting Genesis horses? Will they be breeding their own horses? Will Zed Run have its own legendary and exclusive squad? What is the Zed Run team able to do with the Zed Run stable? Who owns and manages the Zed Run stable? Obviously they own it, but who manages it? Lots of questions. I'm excited for it though. I like that they're going to break the system on their own stable first, because historically, whenever they launch anything new, it doesn't go according to plan, and the community suffers. I think this allows them to make themselves suffer, work out the kinks, and then roll it out to everybody else. So I'm a big fan of the way that they're doing this. This is probably one of the best thought out things I've seen them do so far. So I'm a big fan of ownership and how that all works. Very excited for that. Alright, so this bothers me, right? When a Z1 legendary racehorse. There's no such thing as a Z1 legendary racehorse. And if we go back up here to the retirement, Retire Gloria. She's raced 123 times with an overall record of 22, 11, and 11. That's not a 1% win rate. So I'm happy Zed Run got this out, but you're on track of being $1 billion company. When releasing media, can we please get the details right? I've been one of the most lenient people when it comes to execution. I've been a huge, let the team figure it out. It's going to take time. But either your people making your marketing material have zero product knowledge, or it's just sloppy. And anybody who's been chatting with me on Discord, I'm okay with failure. I'm not okay with laziness. Okay? So, and racing from the 1st of November to the 1st of December, I get this is completely theoretical, but no one's running 10,000 races in that amount of time. So, the dates don't bother me. The fact that you're talking about a horse that doesn't exist in the game, let's clean that shit up. Prize pools, we talked about. Eligibility conditions, pretty simple. Party mode, great. Marketing, so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited for what they're doing. I'm happy people got answers. There's really not a whole lot in here that I wasn't expecting already, except for the Genesis aspect of the project not having any more drops. It's going to take a minute to sink in, really, because there's a lot of horses that I was thinking about buying that I didn't, because I was expecting another drop. But I just bought a Finny Genesis and a Van Gogh TD, so I'm kind of ETH broke right now anyways. So, yeah, we're bullish. Still very bullish. So, yeah, drop a like and comment. Let me know what you think of the announcement. If there is some changes we'd like to see, let's come together and try to either create some sort of uniform product portal submission, so that way they see that it's a growing concern. Let's create some Twitter threads, whatever we gotta do to get a good conversation going. Because it's fine, Danny, for me to talk about this on the YouTube channel, and for people to hit me up privately on Discord. But if I'm trying to speak for a large group of us, it's not being perceived like there is a group, right? It's being perceived as me, one person, pretending to have a group of people that I talk with. And I know that's not your guys' intent. I know that's not my intent, but that's the feedback I'm getting. So if we're going to start making some changes, let's come together and do it in a civilized manner, and let's start getting to work.